Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video, I think I'd better discuss the resignation of Labour rebel, an opponent of trans rights, Rosie Duffield from Labour. A welcome relief to quite a lot of people inside Labour who really couldn't work out why she was in the party to begin with. Like, you can imagine going to someone, a Labour supporter, a Labour member like myself, and go, "Oh, a Labour MP's resigned." And you go, "Oh, what?" And then you go, "Yeah, Rosie Duffield." "Oh, what? All right, then." I couldn't actually tell you the reason she's resigned. I can only say that the reasons she's given are definitely and fairly easily verifiable not true, though. But first, for daily political commentary, please click the subscribe button so you don't miss out. Because first of all, so I noticed that she's saying Starmer has a problem with women today. In reality, what she means is that he accepts the existence of trans women. Of all the things that people try to claim Starmer has a character flaw about, and everyone has character flaws, I think saying he has a problem with women is a pretty bizarre one. Like, you think about it, well, I mean, his chief of staff is a woman, for a start. So she is instrumental in making sure he can get policies implemented. Then, you know, of the 27 people who attend cabinet, one of them is himself. So the 26 other people who attend cabinet, 12 of them are women, including some of the most senior positions who will be delivering policies that will either make or break Starmer's political career. You've got Yvette Cooper, who has to chart a path through tricky immigration waters in order to deny easy oxygen to the Tories and Reform UK come the next election. Rachel Reeves has to deliver him the economic tools that he needs to fight that next election, as well as secure his legacy. Bridget Phillipson has to make our education system fit for purpose. You know, someone who has a problem with women might put women into some token positions to tick a few boxes, but they're not going to allow them to manage almost all of the really important officers which directly determine your own success. You know, your chief of staff, your chancellor. I mean, the Home Secretary, that's just madness. But when she resigned, what Duffield was mostly citing was the donations around the media. And you think to yourself, well, you know, maybe she has, you know, you can be a terrible person in one way and you can be a good person in another. Maybe she really is appalled by all this. And I'll go, no. And I'll tell you how I know she's making this up. Anyone who has paid close attention to politics for any length of time, most especially MPs who live this life, they know that there's nothing out of the ordinary in these declarations of gifts and donations here. Not at all. In fact, if there is anything slightly out of the ordinary, the Starmer and senior MPs have actually seemed to have declared more things than they really strictly had to in some cases. Because I note that Labour are now saying that they're going to close a Tory loophole, which means ministers have to declare things as well. Because what's been happening, so when the media, for example, was saying that Starmer took more in donations and gifts than any other MP in the last Parliament, it came to £106,000. They were lying. He has the most on the register, but that's because ministers don't have to put them on the register, which meant that over 100 of the most senior Conservative MPs in the last Parliament didn't have to register gifts and donations of this kind at all, including the roughly 6 million worth that Boris Johnson received, despite not even lasting the full Parliament. A bit more than 106,000. However, unless Labour actually use this to improve their messaging, I really don't know what the point will be, because Labour are now the ones in government. The Tories could just change it back when they return, you know, like they did last time, because the last time Labour in power, ministers would put things like this on the register. It's the Tories that changed it. They could just change it back. And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe Labour are doing this so that when Starmer and others are no longer registering these gifts, because now they don't have to, then they're not accused of hiding them from the records. Oh, you had this thing. Why didn't you put it on the register? You sneaky little so-and-so. So I think that might be why they're doing it. I don't know. But another thing I don't know is exactly why Duffield really resigned. I get how ordinary members of the public might feel that there's something not right with the nature of some of these gifts and donations, because they've never had it rammed down their throats by the media like this before. After all, what is the problem? The issue is someone gives you a gift, maybe you do something in return using your legislative powers or public spending powers. And that would be corrupt. That would be wrong. But we haven't had any of that. And if we do have any of it, then the press will be right to hammer that. But that's the only thing the public could possibly be concerned about. But because there's never been a media storm like this before, the public may imagine that there's something new or unusual here. But Duffield couldn't possibly be fooled by it. Like other MPs who've jumped on this, they're just using it for their own agenda taking advantage of the Tory media's obsession with making Labour sound as bad as the Tories. But it does make you wonder why she really left. She didn't actually think the winter fuel policy was as cruel as she claims because she didn't vote against it when invited to. And if you're thinking, oh yeah, but there was the risk of having the whip withdrawn if you voted against it, it's like, well, she just resigned from the party. So that sort of proves that she wasn't all that bothered about losing the Labour whip. She's now just surrendered it. Which leaves two possibilities that spring to mind. The first is maybe she's embroiled in some battle we don't know about behind the scenes that she thinks could result in her being pushed before she could jump. But as number 10 seems to be leaking like a sieve, it's likely we would have heard of something. So the second is that she's decided she's not all that bothered about being an MP after the next election, so fancies being an independent so she can do and say exactly what she likes for the next few years. Because if you think she was unhinged before, imagine what she's going to be like now, free of any sort of party structure. She's this Parliament's Andrew Bridgen. Like him, she will presumably be found of a Friday afternoon debating her anti-trans agenda to an empty debating chamber while other MPs are doing their constituency surgeries. Except for the Deputy Speaker, of course, who will have to be there to preside over these one-person debates. And like I say, whatever the real reason for resignation, it's quite a lot of active Labour members will be quite happy about this. In fact, from what I've seen so far, I've not really seen any going, oh, you're leaving? Oh dear, how sad. You know, the general mood is really one of, oh, sorry to hear you going. Don't let the door hit your arse on the way out. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can join for memberships. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.